Who was Helen of Troy? And were you pleased? They asked of Helen in hell. Pleased, answered she, when all Troy's towers fell, and dead were Priam's sons, and lost his throne, and such a war was fought as none had known, and even the gods took part, and all because of me alone. Pleased? I should say I was. Yes, you heard that right. Nobody could explain it better than Lord Dunsany, as he summarized the life story of Helen in this short poem. In today's video, we will be exploring the renowned story of Helen of Troy. Are you as intrigued as us? Well, what are we waiting for? Hit the subscribe button and let's begin. According to legend, Zeus disguised himself as a swan and forcefully got involved with a Spartan queen named Leda. Tyndareus, on the other hand, was the actual husband of Leda, who eventually accepted Helen as his own daughter after seeing the unusual charm of the baby. As the news of an exceptionally beautiful girl residing in the king's house spread, Helen was just 12 years old when the Greek hero Theseus captured her and wanted to marry her. He brought her to Attica in Greece and locked her up under his mother's care. Imagine what that little girl must have felt like back then. However, her luck was as good as her face. While Theseus was absent, Helen's brothers Castor and Pollux rescued her and returned her to Sparta. According to legend, Helen had given birth to a daughter called Iphigenia even before leaving Attica. After returning home, the worried king Tyndareus thought it was time for Helen to marry a reasonable man, or else her life could be in danger. Suitors arrived from all around Greece in the hopes of winning the legendary beauty. Tyndareus was concerned that picking one suitor might enrage the others, causing difficulty for his empire. Therefore, he left the matter in Helen's hands. Helen picked Menelaus, a Mycenaean prince, as her spouse. Clytemnestra, who was Helen's sister, was already married to Menelaus' older brother, Agamemnon. Helen and Menelaus were in a happy marriage for a long time. They had a daughter and a son together. Their existence together, however, came to an abrupt conclusion. A renowned king, Paris, visited Sparta one day. Menelaus extended his warm welcome and was hospitable to Paris. However, on the day of his departure, Paris pulled Helen onto his ship at the last moment, and the Greek navy sailed towards Troy, aiming to destroy Menelaus' honor. Little did he know that this action would mark the beginning of a 10-year-long Trojan War. This famous war was waged between the Greeks and the Trojans after terrible bloodshed and ruin. The Greeks eventually conquered. The war was claimed to have been fought for Helen, who was blamed for the conflict. One perspective of the myth claims that Helen was a voluntary participant in her own kidnapping. Plus, she seduced the Trojan soldiers and distracted them from their main goal. In the other versions of the tale, she was portrayed as a victim who was seized against her will and was only a piece in a bigger political game. After Paris was killed at the fall of Troy, Helen married Paris's brother, Deiphobus. According to some stories, Menelaus attempted to murder her for her betrayal. However, she knew his weakness quite well, and her beauty eventually weakened Menelaus, causing him to drop his sword. Her charm forced him to forgive her, and both Menelaus and Helen returned to Sparta and lived happily ever after. However, it's difficult to determine Helen of Troy's fate after the Trojan War, since different places narrated her story differently, and different authors wrote about her over time, according to their distinct perspectives. Nonetheless, we hope you enjoyed this video, and we hope it was informative for you. Don't forget to press the subscribe button, because we unlock new mysteries every week.